Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Non-League Premier League here with Bath City. We are at the last game of the season, coming up against Southend, who currently sit in second. And funny enough, Rochdale, who are first, are coming up against Dagenham and Redbridge, who sit down in fifth. So it could be quite an important game. It's a hard end to the season for both Rochdale and Southend. And then we are looking towards the playoffs, really. So if we manage to get any kind of result against Southend, Rochdale probably should win the league. Well, will win the league. Um, Actually, Southend could. If we get a draw and Rochdale lose, Southend will go top on goal difference. So anything could happen. But the playoff spots are all but finished with Woking and Solihull Moors both with something to play for. They could both end out on 74 points, but Forest Green will probably stay in the playoffs anyway with their 18 goal difference, which is 8 and 9 higher, respectively, than 7th and 6th. So a lot riding on these last few games for pretty much everyone. And I won't lie to you guys, I'm going for a full rotated squad. A few of my main team players coming in to find fitness. Some of my youth players coming in for starts. Reason I'm doing this, to be honest, is I want to rest a lot of people ready for the playoffs. Diot's actually going to stay rested. I'm not even going to look into the team that much. I'm just going to go with the rotated squad. We've got youth players making their debuts. This includes Tapawu Masuka. He's another new youth player from this season. I assume he was on the bench. He's the guy we've just signed alongside Daly. Was it Daly? Clint Daly in midfield. The future of the club, potentially alongside Sweeten and Waruha. That could be one hell of a midfield three. If I go back to a more deep sitting midfield three. I expect a no result out of this, but this could mean that Southend win the league, depending on what happens in the other game against Dagenham and Redbridge, which we will see here. We'll try and keep an eye on that throughout today's episode. And we'll take a look, obviously, at the end of this match at what the final standings are in the league. But Southend really are given a very easy ticket for promotion by the fact that we're playing such a rotated squad. Resting people, getting ready. Maybe shouldn't have rested too many people because I need their match sharpness. To be fair, Peak, Bainmore, Alves, Avoki are all debatably first team starters. Alongside that, Daly and Sweeten aren't actually that bad in DM, and they make a few appearances here and here between. Keta Diawa at left back, also not far off the first team and makes a lot of appearances. But the remaining back four, Sealing and Cornick being youth players who basically never play, and Tomlinson, who's barely played this season. It is a very weak lineup, especially defensively, but in our attacking third, not so much. So you would hope if we do get any chances, we will score, but you'd also imagine if our opponents get many chances, they will score. But here we are about 20 minutes in. Southend really piling the pressure on our goal. 20 minutes in, Dagenham, Redbridge, Rochdale is still 0-0 as well. So there'll be no movement at the top of the table as it stands. And here's Cornick winging the ball in. Keto picks it up straight to Pete. Pete gets a chance to turn. Assesses his options and does absolutely nothing and loses the ball. Here comes the counter attack here. Kendall out on the right for our opponents today. Daly tracking back well. But the ball comes in and it goes to Ronnie Stutter. And he puts them 1-0 up inside half an hour here. And this puts Southend now at the top of the table, overtaking Rochdale. But we are creating chances and we're not really getting dominated, which is a surprise. And Ndi comes out to claim. He's going to play this short out to Good Life. Or Good Life. Ball over the top to Kendall. And it's in again to the man himself, Ronnie Stutter. You can see really how we're suffering defensively. Almost every ball over the top, landing at them. Complete domination, to be honest. Southend, 16 shots, 8 on target. 2.79 XG within the first half. And the ball here with Charlie Binns. Rolls it out to Tomlinson, out wide to Alves. That's a good ball towards Alves. What can he do? Driving all the way into the box now. Who can he pick out? It's to Cornick, to Daly. Daly into Cornick again. Forward to Alves. Alves tries to curl it into the top corner. A bit too high, a bit too wide there, but not a bad effort overall. And here we go, Southend building up from the back again. Really, here Bath, we're getting completely dominated. But this is what I expected when I went for a large rotating squad. Focusing on these playoffs. I want everyone fit. I want everyone healthy, ready to go. To try and push towards promotion. If we don't get promoted, it won't be the end of the world. It'll give me opportunities to get some of these youngsters more first team minutes and keep them growing, especially the likes of Diop and the man there who just took the shot, Daly. And hopefully get the likes of Afoki really find his shooting boots. And you look at the defence, there's just nobody there. We bring Rainsy Boy on for Cornick, because Cornick is a bit tired. Avoki being anxious doesn't help us. Alves, you can get some rest before the final game of the season. To be honest, Beardmore needs a rest, so the new leaf player, Masuka, can get some game time here in the cam spot. Tomlinson being anxious at the back. Let's just chuck Gallagher on, to be honest. Not too fast, I'm just trying to rest up some of those key players that were in our starting attack, ready for the next game. And give Orsi some minutes to try and keep him match sharp. But as you can see, Bath, really, we've had no chances at all this game. We've been absolutely dominated. And we're going to have quite a boring finish to the game, I feel. Because I'm going to try, once again, I'm going to go to a 5-back. You're going to see Keto at left wing back. You're going to see Rains at right wing back. And I'm actually going to drop Daly into centre back. It is a position he can kind of play. If I put him just as a centre back, he'll be fine there. And the youngster, Masuku, he's not going to do too good in that DM position. But to be honest with you, I'm not fast. We're going a bit more defensive. We're going to sit back. And I was about to say, try and stop Southend scoring anymore. But there's one from a set piece. Leon Chambers Perillon put Southend 3-0 up there inside 60 minutes. And I have, admittedly, completely chucked this game away by rotating the whole squad. But my position, no matter what the results of today's games, was set in stone. I wasn't going up. I wasn't going down. So on to the playoffs we will go after this game. And I'm debating creating a new tactic, using a new tactic for you can see Lennon Peaks picked up an injury, but I've used all my subs, so very little I can do about that. During my next opportunity, I am going to quickly check the result currently in the Dagenham and Redbridge game. When I can get there, there's Mr. Ronnie Stutto, who's had a great game. Danny Rose headers just over the bar. Here we are, Dagenham are actually beating Rochdale. So this is going to see Southend win the league and guarantee themselves promotion. And it will drop Rochdale into the playoffs. Which, if anything, has potentially made it a lot harder for me. Because if I come up against Rochdale at any point, I'm not sure we're going to beat them, to be honest. But I do think another season in this league could be really good for us. Allowing Casagrande some more main team football. He's really going to grow next season. Daly's going to start pushing himself into the team. And same for Diop. He's going to push himself into the team more next season. And it's going to help them grow, which may assist pushing us to promotion. But what I know all too well about FM is sometimes when you don't get promoted the first season, the second season for some reason is so much harder. And I'm hoping that's not going to be the case for us. Daly picking up the ball, playing it long, but Peak's never going to win that. But Masuka picks it up to Peak. Peak back to Sealy. Sealy across to Gallagher. Into Sweeten now. Great ball out wide to Reigns. And this will probably be his last appearance for us, I'd expect. Peak took that down nicely. Good defence there to keep us out. Our only real chance of the game, if I'm honest. And the fact Peak has picked up another injury is rather frustrating. Sweeten on the ball out wide to Diop. To Reigns to Sweeten to Gallagher. A lot of youth in this lineup now. Reigns being the oldest head by miles in there. Potentially Orsi's older. Orsi is retiring at the end of the season, as explained earlier. And we will probably miss him next season. Especially because I expect Dolling to leave. Dagenham still 1-0 up. And we will see the final table in a few minutes' time as this game runs to the end. One final chance here for Southend. Throw in deep in our half. It's back to Chambers Perilon to Boys. He's got to swing that in. He does. And there's Rose somehow off the post. Cleared, but only as far as the Southend players. Peak now, he's completely done in. I made those subs too early. And there's no way Peak should still be on this pitch. But I've got no one to sub him off for. I could just force him off the pitch. But that's pointless. But that is the ending result and the end of the table. Southend finish on 98 with promotion. Solihull and Woking both win. They've gone from 71 to 74 points. So Woking make it to the playoffs on goal difference. Forest Green looks like they managed to get a draw and they increased to 75 points. Dagenham on 80 after their win. We're under 84, a whole 8 points behind Sutton and a whole 12 points behind Rochdale and 14 points behind the eventual winners, Southend, who we did just lose to. Convincingly lost on purpose to rest my team. So we will be pushing on to the playoffs, I believe. And it looks like our first opponents have been secured. Leonard Peak only out for 1 to 3 days. Professional debut given there. Southend crown champions, as we can see. If we go to our calendar. There we have a game against Woking. And it's Forest Green versus Dagenham and Redbridge for the first stage of the playoffs. If you did enjoy and you're excited for the playoffs, please do leave a like, please do subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.